August 16, 2025. The long-awaited night has finally arrived. The entire MMA world is holding its breath, waiting for a moment that will go down in fighting sports history. The MMA world is glued to a huge fight. Khamzatchimaev, the undefeated fighter known for his strong mind and amazing stamina, is finally fighting for UFC gold. This is the fight fans have dreamed of for a long time, a battle between two forces that seem unstoppable. Chimaev, a giant with a perfect 14-0 record, has crushed his opponents every time. His aggressive fighting style, scary wrestling skills, and strong confidence make him a real threat in this division. Every time he steps into the octagon, his opponents know they are facing a storm that's hard to stop. But across from him stands dricusduplessis, the reigning middleweight champion. He's not just holding a belt, he's a symbol of toughness, strength, and endless determination. With a 23-2 record, Duplessis has proven himself a king who's hard to take down, always ready for the biggest challenges. This is more than just a title fight. It's a clash of two worlds, two different fighting styles. Chimaev brings suffocating grappling and endless pressure, while Duplessis relies on deadly striking, physical power, and an unbreakable fighting spirit. Every second in the octagon will be a test of mind and body for both. The stakes, legacy, dominance, and a chance to write their names in UFC history. The big question hangs in the air. Can Chimaev's power finally be stopped, or will Duplessis remain the unbeatable king? Who will come out as the new legend on this high-pressure night? The MMA world is buzzing with excitement. Fans from all over the world are gathering, both in the arena and in front of their screens, waiting for the moment that will change the middleweight landscape forever. The future of this division truly hangs in the balance. Whoever wins will set a new standard for other fighters who dream of taking the throne. The stage is set for the main event that will decide both men's careers. All eyes are on the octagon, waiting for the answer to the biggest question: who is truly unbeatable? The United Center in Chicago was buzzing with energy. It was the UFC's first time back in 6 years, and the city showed up with record-breaking excitement. UFC 319 broke records for how many people came and how much money it made. This just shows how much the sport has grown and how popular its main fighters are. The middleweight belt has changed hands 5 times in 3 years, making this division the wildest in the UFC. Every fight on the card was important, but all eyes were on the main event, a fight that could finally bring some calm or cause even more chaos. Chicago was ready for history, and the world was watching. The opening bell rings and Chimaev wastes no time. An instant takedown, wrestling Duplessis to the canvas. The challenger's game plan is clear: relentless pressure, total control. For 5 minutes, Chimaev smothers the champion, stopping every escape attempt and draining his energy. Duplessis tries to crawl, but Chimaev is always one step ahead, pinning him down and racking up control time. The crowd feels the shift. Chimaev is dominating, and the champion is forced to play defense. The first round ends with no doubt. Chimaev has set the tone, and Duplessis needs an answer. The judges give it clearly to the challenger. The pattern of the fight has been set. Round 2. Duplessis tried to stay on his feet, landing some sharp punches, but Chimaev was not bothered. He caught a kick, pushed the champ back to the mat, and kept up his smothering top game. Any good moment Duplessis found standing up disappeared as Chimaev carefully moved to better spots, landing short punches and keeping control. The champ's frustration was clear. He was forced to play defense, not offense. Chimaev's control grew, and his energy seemed endless. 2 rounds in, the challenger was fully in charge, and Duplessis' path to winning was getting smaller and smaller. The story was clear. Chimaev's grappling was amazing. The champ went back to his corner looking for answers. Round 3 saw Chimaev turn up the heat, another takedown, but now with punishing ground and pound. Elbows and punches opened up cuts on Duplessis, who showed heart but took serious damage. Chimaev was no longer just controlling, he was hunting for a finish, forcing the referee to watch closely. In the 4th round, Chimaev trapped Duplessis in a crucifix, raining down unanswered punches in a scary display. The champion held on, but the round was clearly 10-8. Chimaev's control was total. Going into the last round, Duplessis needed a miracle. Chimaev had given a masterclass in control and damage. The outcome seemed unavoidable. 5th round. Duplessis, bruised but not broken, moved forward, throwing punches for a miracle. Every step was heavy, but his resolve never wavered. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, he refused to back down, even though his face was bruised and his breath was short. This was the moment a champion was tested, not just by the opponent in front of him, but also by the pain and exhaustion that was eating away at his body. Duplessis knew there was only one chance left, and he was betting everything. For the first time, Chimaev looked tired, and Duplessis landed his best punches of the fight. Every punch that landed was a result of courage and belief, making Chimaev stumble. The crowd held its breath, realizing that the momentum was starting to shift. Chimaev, who had seemed invincible until now, had to face immense pressure from the challenger. The crowd exploded as the champion scored a takedown and locked in a tight guillotine choke. The atmosphere in the arena turned into a sea of emotions. Screams, hope, and tension mixed into one. Duplessis held on tight, trying to force Chimaev to tap out. All eyes were on the two fighters who were now fighting not only for victory, but also for their legacy in the world of MMA. For a moment, it looked like an impossible comeback, but Chimaev stayed calm, escaped, and regained control. With incredible technique and composure, he turned the tables, proving why he is considered one of the best. Duplessis, though disappointed, continued to fight, refusing to give up until the very last second. The final seconds ticked away with Chimaev on top, sealing his victory. Every second felt like an eternity, both fighters giving their last bit of energy. Chimaev held his position, making sure there was no opening for Duplessis to turn the tables. The referee watched closely, and the final bell rang. Both men collapsed, exhausted and respectful of each other. They had given everything in the octagon, and now only respect remained between two true fighters. The crowd stood, giving a thunderous applause for an amazing fight. Duplessis had shown the heart of a champion. Chimaev had answered every question. That night, both proved that courage and an unyielding spirit are at the core of this sport. There is no true defeat for those who dare to dream and fight until the end. The fight ended with a thrilling and challenging defense from the former champion. This was a night to remember, where two fighters wrote their own story in UFC history, a story of courage, sacrifice, and an unyielding fighting spirit. The judges' scores were just a formality, 50-44 across the board for Khamzatchimaev. Bruce Buffer's voice boomed, "And the new UFC middleweight champion of the world, Khamzatchimaev." Chimaev dropped to his knees, overwhelmed by the moment. In his post-fight interview, he gave props to Duplessis's heart and toughness, while the former champ vowed to be back. Chimaev's 12 takedowns were the second most in a UFC middleweight fight. A new era has begun, and the division has a dominant new king. The journey from prospect to champion is complete. While Khamzatchimaev ruled the main event with an amazing performance, he showed power and skill that wowed the fans. Chimaev truly proved himself as one of the scariest fighters in the division, controlling his opponent and ending the fight with confidence. UFC 319 gave us unforgettable violence all over the card, with every fight bringing brutal action and high tension. Every corner of the octagon was full of energy, and the fighters gave it their all for the win. History was made that night with two super rare spinning back elbow knockouts, moments that are uncommon even at the highest level of MMA. This move needs perfect aim and timing, and both fighters pulled it off brilliantly. Lerone Murphy shocked Aaron Pico in the co-main event, ending the fight with one deadly strike that made the arena erupt right away. This win became one of the biggest highlights in Murphy's career. Meanwhile, Carlos Prates finished Jeff Neal in the last second of the first round, proving that in MMA, anything can change in a flash. This dramatic knockout added to the long list of amazing finishes at UFC 319. Both finishes really thrilled the crowd in the arena, making everyone stand up and cheer. The vibe inside the stadium was amazing, with energy that spread to all the fans and even the commentators. Michael Venom Page also shined in his win over Jared Cannonier, showing off his unique fighting style and unexpected attacks that overwhelmed his opponent. Page once again proved why he's called one of the most creative strikers in the MMA world. Just as exciting, Timothy Elliott beat Kai Asakura in a wild and action-packed flyweight fight. Both fighters traded blows non-stop, but Elliott came out on top with amazing strategy and toughness. From start to finish, the UFC 319 card was a show of MMA's unpredictability and excitement. Every second was full of adrenaline, and the fans never knew what would happen next. This was a night where anything could happen. Chicago saw a night full of highlight reel moments where new stars appeared and veterans proved their worth. This city truly became the center of the MMA world for one unforgettable night. UFC 319 was a perfect storm of action, drama, and history. That night will always be remembered as one of the most amazing events in UFC history, proving that MMA is always full of surprises and wonders. With the belt around his waist, Chimaev's reign begins, and the middleweight division is full of challengers. Former champ Israel Adesanya looms, a clash of styles that would headline any card. A rematch with Duplessis or a fight with rising stars like Sean Strickland or Michael Page could be next. Chimaev answered every question at UFC 319: dominance, durability, and heart. The division has a terrifying new ruler, and the chase is on. Chicago's historic night marked the start of a new era. The world now waits to see who, if anyone, can dethrone the Boers.